Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, I'm sitting with Steve Edwards, executive producer of Lucky Jack and president of the New Jersey Hall of Fame. Lucky Jack is a new film about Steve's father's extraordinary journey, from a pizza delivery man in Newark to a brain surgeon. We'll also chat about the upcoming Hall of Fame induction ceremony at American Dream in East Rutherford. Steve, it's always a pleasure being with you.
Lisa, it's a real pleasure. And you and I have something in common. We're Telly winners, right?
Yes,
we
we're
just won
Telly
an award
winners. Well,
together.
because of you.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because of you.
Well, we're going to get into Hall of Fame later because there's a lot to cover, but we're going to put you in the spotlight now because you have been working on this film, Lucky Jack, for many years.
1,500 years, to be exact.
Tell us all about it.
So it is a labor of love. It's the crazy story of my dad and my mom. My dad grew up in the Newark projects, very dysfunctional family back in the 1940s into the 50s. And he always had this dream of becoming a doctor, but never really applied himself in school. And he dropped out, he failed out every course his junior year of high school at Week Wake High School in Newark, including gym. I don't know how you do that, but he managed to do it. And then he sort of morphed into a Walter Mitty character. He always had a dream, and it always ended in failure. And it was one failure to the other. In 1966, he was 30 years old. He had a wife and 2 children. He smoked a joint. He put on Man of La Mancha's Impossible Dream. He put on a surgeon's smock. And he looked in the mirror and he said, I see a doctor staring back at me. And not just any doctor, but a brain surgeon.
How?
As nuts as that sounds. He had an epiphany. That's all it takes for somebody to achieve an amazing dream, is to have an epiphany in one moment's time, to be inspired. In that case, it was the music, and okay, it was the weed a little bit, but it was him challenging himself, like, who am I in my highest, best sense of self, and for the greater good? And he decided a brain surgeon, and he believed it, and he somehow conned my mom into going on that journey. And 9 years later, he was operating on brains at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. And one of the best parts, and it's in the film, is I was 15 years old when he started to do his residency at Mount Sinai. I got to go on rounds with him. I met the patients. He'd introduce me. I'd go into the back of the operating room. You can't do that anymore. I would watch him and his fellow neurosurgeons and the nurses operate on brains. So it's an amazing story, and I felt, after he passed, I felt I need to tell this story to hopefully inspire others. The tagline on the film is, it's never too late to chase your dream. And I would say, I would add to that, it's never too late to live your life on purpose. And that's the whole point of the film.
So let's back up because, wow, first of all, what a story. So you were like 8 years old when he started going to medical school?
So I was 4 years old when he went to college.
Okay.
He graduated Rutgers in Newark in 1970. Every medical school in America turned him down. They rejected him. He was a 34-year-old guy, at that point with 3 children. He had a good average, but it wasn't straight A. But I think everybody looked at the resume and this is nuts. You know, he's not going to make it. So his friends at Comet Pizzeria in Hillside put a collection together for him and sent us off with about $3,000, my family, my mom, my 3 sisters at the time, and my dad. And we drove to Mexico, where he proceeded to talk his way into me. He wasn't even accepted when we started the journey. So he handed the transcripts over, and he did a great job, a New Jersey guy selling himself.
It's like Legally Blonde, almost.
Exactly. I mean, it's the craziest of stories. But they let him in. Make a long story short, he passed his medical boards after 2 years, and he got accepted into UMDNJ in Newark. He was 36 years old, and that's where he finished medical school. And the cool thing is, he was literally like 7 minutes from the projects he grew up in when he went to UMDNJ.
What was going through your mind watching all of this unfold?
It was sort of surreal, and I think for my sisters as well. We almost felt like we were characters in a movie because there was always somebody around us to remind us, this is amazing, I can't believe you're doing it, Jack, and encouraging him. And so it was exciting. You know, all I can tell you is when he finally got to Sinai and I got to see him in action and the other neurosurgeons, it was some of the best days of my life.
What inspired you to turn this story into a movie?
I bumped into somebody, a filmmaker, who was telling me how much fun he was having being a filmmaker and a documentary filmmaker. And something just clicked in my brain. We had just finished the 2010 New Jersey Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and we had Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito and Buzz Aldrin. It was an amazing night. And I was riding high and feeling like, okay, I have maybe what it takes to do these creative type of projects. And when the guy told me how much fun he was having, and I had in the back of my brain, my dad's story would make a great story, I started working on the project back. We didn't really start till 2011, but the seed was planted that day.
Wow. How does one make a movie? That's not a typical filmmaker like yourself.
So you're asking the right person because I made every rookie mistake along the way. So if anybody wants to make a movie, start with me, and I'll tell you about all the mistakes I made. And then I reached out to Steve Caliver, who owned Flemington Auto. He was a filmmaker as well. And he recommended a crew. And then it was just seat of the pants. I'm like, okay, if I want to tell this story, I've got to start with my mom. I got to talk to all my dad's friends, and they weren't getting any younger. So I went out with a camera and started interviewing, documenting the story. And it's really interesting. This is a part of the filmmaking process I feel qualified to share with other filmmakers. When you go out and you talk to people and you listen and you distill that down into transcripts and you start reading, you start seeing the patterns. Even though it was my dad, I didn't understand many of the main elements of the story. And so that was when it really clicked, when after I did like 12 interviews and I started reading through the transcripts, I'm like, wow, I got a story to tell here, and I see how we have to do it. But at every iteration of the edit, I kept saying, it's not enough, I need to talk to more people, it's not enough, I gotta keep. And then before COVID, I decided I have to not dramatize like you would with a feature film, but I have to show the story in a dramatic way for people to feel it at the next level. And I hired Bridget Smith and a talented crew, and we went out and did that right before COVID. We filmed 100 reenactment scenes, and silent. The talking heads talk over all of the reenactment scenes. Nobody talks in any of the reenactment scenes. But it really was able to get the story to the next level. And finally, I called it a wrap, you know, like 3 years after COVID. And we finally put it out this year. And we're doing well with it. I'm excited.
You are. You're hitting the circuits. You're doing everything you need to. Where has the film been shown so far?
So it has played at the Philadelphia Independent Film Festival. It just appeared in Italy. But more recently, it also appeared at the Jersey Shore Film Festival, and we won. I just found out we won Best Docudrama, audience favorite, so that was great. That's always, you want positive reinforcement to keep you going. We have a lot of other film festivals we applied to, so we have a website people could follow along. It's luckyjackfilm.com. And you can see where it's going to be appearing next. But we're also going to do some private screenings. Senator Cryan is going to host one in my hometown of Union, September 26th at the new Union Library, in discussions with Senator Booker about hosting one in Newark next year. And then, I don't want to say who, but I'm in discussions with a major healthcare carrier about doing a very big screening, 1,000+ people in Manhattan. Sometime next year. So between the film festivals and the private screenings, we're going to get it out to as large an audience we can, and then find a distributor and try to get it out to the masses.
Well, you have the contacts to make that happen.
Got the contacts, but it's a very, you know this about entertainment, it's so fragmented now. People have so many options, and unless you spend a gazillion dollars to market your product, it's so hard. But I really feel, I have all along with the Hall of Fame as well, if you can approach every day with the attitude of, starting with family, if I could lift one soul at a time, I feel good. I've served a purpose. If it could be 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000, even better. But one soul at a time is good enough for me.
Did you self-fund this movie, or did you get together some investment?
I self-funded.
That's
So
how much you
if
believe
you want
in
to talk
it.
to my accountant, he's crying for me. But nowadays, people can make films with their iPhones. And you can
Not
get...
that you did that, though.
I didn't
You
do
had-
that. I hired the best of the best when it came to filming and the reenactment scenes. When you see the film, I
You
think
cast look-alike actors, the whole thing.
Bridget, the director, did a tremendous job with the cast. Everyone that walks away says, that looked like your mom, and that looked like you and your dad, and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of actors and actresses that will work for very low wages just to get themselves out there. You can do films relatively cheap, you know, nowadays. I mean, maybe 50, 100,000 on minimum. And then, of course, you could spend millions of dollars if you want to.
How did your dad's story, because now we'll segue into the Hall of Fame, because you're so passionate. I mean, there would be no New Jersey Hall of Fame without you.
Yeah.
But obviously, you talk a lot about dreams and accomplishing the impossible. And that's what the Hall of Fame is, right? That's celebrating people that reach the top. But your father's story had to fuel you into creating the Hall of Fame.
It did. I've got an incredible team around me, and I'm not being cute. I mean, I couldn't accomplish anything without all the men and women that are around me. And there's so many names, I'm not going to start like an Academy Award speech. I couldn't accomplish anything without all the men and women that are around me. That needs to be said, because team is so important. The name of my dad's boat was Arete. Arete is ancient Greek wisdom. Plato, Aristotle, Socrates referred to it as the essence of life. It means the act of actualizing your highest and best sense of self with a moral excellence of character and for the greater good. And when you look at all of the Hall of Fame inductees, all Jersey boys and girls, they all did just that, right? They thought of themselves. They started out dreaming, right? And they saw themselves in what they thought was their highest, best sense of self. And then they all grinded it out day by day, month by month, year by year, until they reached the pinnacle. And so it's Arete, that concept, and the heroes that our Hall of Fame inductees are, and the wisdom they have to offer in all the ways we do it at our museum. That's really what we're trying to get out to inspire children, and really adults of all ages for that matter, and try to ignite passions in people, you know, to live your life on purpose, do it for the greater good. What's really interesting is the film's coming out and the Hall of Fame's exploding at a very interesting time. We're coming up in the United States in 2026 on the 250th anniversary. I think it was the signing of the Constitution 250 years ago.
Yeah, it's our birthday.
It's our birthday, nation's birthday, in July of 2026. What's interesting about it is that our founding generation looked to ancient Greek wisdom and concepts like Arete as the inspiration for the writing of the Constitution. And then you go back to Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates. It was Arete that was inspiring to them, and then they helped inspire their citizens at the cradle of civilization. And, you know, we're at a point in the world, and I don't mean to preach, I know everybody's over-messaged, but why not go back to the basics and lift one another to realize our highest, best sense of self and for the greater good? So that's what we're doing with the Hall of Fame. It's what I'm trying to do with the film as well. And there's a lot of greatness in Jersey.
There's
so
so much greatness.
You look at that Hall of Fame, there's a lot of people, you know, to point to to inspire other people.
And what a gorgeous showcase you put together at the American Dream to house all of these names. And in November, you're adding more.
We're adding more in November. We have our 17th Hall of Fame induction ceremony that's coming up November 21st. It'll be on the ice rink at American Dream. Danny DeVito is tentatively scheduled to be the host. He's got a film schedule that he's navigating around, so fingers
Yes.
crossed. He's
Yes.
been our host 3 other times. And then we've got folks like Jonas Brothers,
Well, that's your marquee name, I
That's
think. That
marquee
spans a lot of
name.
generations, right?
David Bryan, the keyboardist for Bon Jovi, is being inducted. Dana Bash from CNN, Martin Brodeur. If I'm pronouncing that
Yeah.
right, I'm not a hockey fan. Forgive
New
me,
Jersey
hockey
Devils
fans, don't beat
legend,
me
the
up.
most down-to-earth superstar
No
athlete
pressure.
you will ever meet.
Yeah, that I
Martin
know
Brodeur.
about him. Isley Brothers, got a lot of brothers being inducted. Jonas Brothers, Isley Brothers, and we got a whole. It's
Chef David Burke.
Chef David Burke is another one. We've got 17 people all together, and I just, New Jersey gets bashed a lot. Why not have one night a year, right, to celebrate who we are? Because it really is greatness all around us, and not just famous rock stars and athletes. That's terrific. But we got folks in this state, all walks of life, firemen, policemen, educators, right across the board. And we honor them too at the Hall of Fame Museum in our Everyday Hero exhibit. And we'll be honoring more unsung heroes this year. We'll announce the unsung hero in September. And we're going to have some fun doing it.
Yeah. And you also have an amazing scholarship program
We do.
named after your father's boat.
The Arate Scholarship.
I never knew that's why it was named that.
Yeah, that's what
For
it
your
was
dad,
named.
I love that. That was
Yeah.
the inspiration.
So we'll be announcing a few more winners, essay winners as well. We ask children to write about their favorite hero. In a lot of cases, it's mom, dad, a grandma, a coach or whatever. But yeah, we're keep going forward one day at a time. I always tell our team that it's grinding it out. One day at a time, because so many days you feel like, am I really making a difference? And those are the days you got to push through. And that's when the progress is right on the other side of stringing together a lot of days where you just stay focused. So we're going to keep doing that for a while.
Well, you've been open now over a year at American Dream. How is it all going?
It's going great. I should say there are many people are surprised by this. There are 3 state halls of fame in the United States. 47 states don't have halls of fame. California, South Dakota.
Which is, you told me that one time, and I still
Yeah.
can't believe that.
They have the most mature model. They started back in the 70s. And they were very helpful to us when we launched New Jersey Hall of Fame.
No offense to our friends up there, just
No,
wouldn't think.
I know. It's in the middle of Chamberlain, South Dakota, on
Okay.
the side of a highway in the middle of farmland. But what I'm proud of, and I know many of the team members at Hall of Fame are, is this is the first state-of-the-art museum of its kind for any state in the United States. California is a nice little exhibit. It's in the Women's Museum. It's a really nice exhibit, but it's just part of a bigger museum. South Dakota has a wonderful museum, but it's a standalone building. This is state-of-the-art. It's the way museums should be in the 21st century. It's very interactive and immersive. And 10,000 square feet. And it's got so many cool exhibits, I don't know where to begin. But I'll say one thing for people that go. You're going to see the Model T that Henry Ford gifted to Thomas Edison in 1916. Not only did he gift it to him, they used to take road trips with, I think, Henry Firestone tires. They would all get in this car, in this very car that's on display at our museum, and they take road trips together. And then it is very interactive, as I mentioned. We've got a hologram karaoke stage. You
Oh
get up.
yeah, I rocked my voice on
Who
that
would you sing
stage.
to? Who was your?
Gloria Gaynor, I will survive.
I will survive. That's a good mantra for all of us, right?
Of course, yeah. But you are launching something very exciting out of your late night TV studio.
Yeah, we're going to announce in the fall, Legends of New Jersey podcast, and I've recorded a variety of them to date. My good friend Tony Orlando from Tony Orlando and Dawn fame and his own solo career. We spent 2.5 hours going down memory lane. I mean, this guy, Jersey boy, who became a legend the world over, he has stories, like intimate stories. The Beatles, Elvis Presley, his mentor Clive Davis, who had hired him to be a music executive at one point. Bobby Darin was a mentor, Frank Sinatra. So we spent 2.5 hours talking about all those great stories. And we've interviewed Harlan Coben and James Gandolfini's wife, Deborah Lynn, Jerry Cooney, and a number of others. And once a week, beginning in the fall, we're going to unveil another Legend of Jersey podcast interview.
Well, you're the perfect host for that. You are.
I appreciate
Well,
it.
because you genuinely love and care and want to know and dig deep into these stories.
It's something that I'm passionate about for sure, and I think the world needs more inspiration. It needs to stay focused more on, what is your individual dream, and then help people to start on that road. So I enjoy, getting those stories across. I think we need it.
Yeah, one of your inductees, Derek Jeter, he just gave the commencement address at the University of Michigan, and that was his advice to the graduating class. Find what your passion is, because that will fuel you.
I'm glad he
to
listened
success.
to me. That was
Yeah,
very
right?
nice.
I know
never
you and
think
Derek
Derek
talk all the
Jeter's
time.
listening to me. He's always swinging a bat and throwing a ball up in the air, but he's listening.
Yeah,
that's terrific.
that's great. I know, and I love saying that one of your inductees. Right?
Exactly.
It's just so amazing what you've been able to build, and the fact that your inductees come back and support the mission.
Yeah.
That just brings it home, because I love that they're not just getting an award, they're giving back.
Yeah, and I do encourage your viewers to go to njhalloffame.org, and they could follow our schedule, because if you want to be a successful museum, you have to have programming, robust programming throughout the year. So what we're doing is we're inviting our inductees to come back. So for example, Tony Orlando came back, and we had Tony Orlando Day, Homecoming Day. And there was a couple hundred people that came through the museum that day. But it was so amazing he stood there at the end of the Q&A, and he sang like 3 songs, including Tie a Yellow Ribbon. And it was so amazing to see the entire audience get up at the same time and start singing along and clapping. And I looked out, and maybe it sounds hokey, but I saw people from all walks of life that weren't arguing. They weren't pontificating about what's wrong with the world or what we need to do. They were just dancing and singing and happy, and all in a room, no matter what their differences. The power of music, right, really helped to focus them and bring the best out in them. But we're going to have lots of programs like that throughout the year. We had Harlan Coben Day.
I
not
saw
too
that
long
with
ago.
Danielle Monero. You had Greg Schiano, Rutgers coach.
Yeah,
out
Greg
with
Schiano,
ESPN
giving a
Radio.
preview of the season. We're going to have a lot more that are in progress. I can't announce them right now. But if you go to the website, you could follow along, and then we encourage you to come out for one of them.
Tiki Barber was just back there doing his radio show with WFAN.
I was on that radio show, and that was very nice of them to come. Tiki Barber and the fan show that he does. They want to come back again, so that's cool. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming up.
Yeah, well, are people able to attend the Hall of Fame ceremony happening on November 21st?
We will. We have sponsorship packages that are the most important. We got to sell those
Of
to
course.
pay for the event, because it's very expensive to put these big productions on. But I think we'll have tickets beyond that. You just need to go to the website, njhalloffame.org, after Labor Day, and start checking on that and what tickets may be available. But I mean, it's going to be at least a few thousand people, and so we'll probably need lots of warm bodies to come out.
Where can people find out more about the movie?
So they can go luckyjackfilm.com, and yeah, when you'll see the schedule, there's a tentative schedule up now, but it'll keep changing. It's a work in progress. So hopefully, we've got a dozen, if not more, screenings between September 26th is the next official screening at the Union Library. But hopefully we'll have a dozen or more going into 2026. And then we'll find the appropriate platform to distribute it, hopefully throughout the world. And excited about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a story the world needs to hear and see.
Yeah,
So.
thank you. I so appreciate it, Lisa.
Yeah. Well, Steve, it's always a pleasure. I love always
Jersey
seeing you,
girl.
and I just encourage everybody watching to go to the New Jersey Hall of Fame because it's such a great time, and the American Dream is a great time.
It's sort of like Disney World.
At
20,
the Meadowlands,
20
yeah.
minutes from Manhattan. There's so much to do in addition to New Jersey Hall of Fame. So thank you for those encouraging words.
Yes. See you in November.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.